Brad Gunning just stated that the XRP market cap will take over from the Bitcoin market cap. At the same time, the XRP price chart shows that XRP will be worth more than $297.89 in less than 12 days. Guys, this is huge, and it's happening right now in front of our eyes. Look around and pay close attention. There has never been any regulatory uncertainty at Ripple. We have worked with regulators from the start, and we have worked with regulated companies like banks. We found that one reason XRP has done so well is that people are starting to think, hey, wait a minute, back to your question, is XRP the next Bitcoin? To answer your question, is XRP the next Bitcoin? There's a lot of value to be made in XRP if we work with the system to solve this problem and are able to solve it on a large scale, a problem that costs trillions of dollars. Yes, so the SEC is what has changed the price of XRP. Honestly, I think a lot of people forget that XRP was the second most valuable digital asset after ETH before the SEC got involved in the crypto markets. After the SEC said, hey, we think ETH is probably fine, ETH went up. Then the SEC sued Ripple, which caused XRP to go down. This isn't how our government should work, Our playing field should be level, and everyone should have the same chances. In this case, our government shouldn't be picking winners and losers. We believe that in the end we'll win and that everything will work out, but for now, it's awful for the community. I also like how you describe it for the XRP family. Have they got yes? And this is just the start. Just think about how big XRP will become when Eric Trump praises Ripple Credos and says that he knows XRP. Pay attention to how he talks about XRP. It looks like Eric Trump has a lot of XRP. How do you feel about Doge? What do you think about XRP? Ripple, how do you feel about Ethereum? Where are you when the other three people are? Know all of them very well. I know Brad very well from XRP, and you know what a great job he's done. Know a lot about Ethereum. I'm one of the guys who said at the beginning of this year, all right, guys, now the money is flowing and millions will be made very, very soon. When we talk about XRP and the XRP ledger, we can't forget that it holds more than just XRP and transfers made with XRP. The market is retracing right now, and there will probably be a huge rise in the next few days. There is one thing you need to know, though. People make the most money when they are afraid. People actually make millions of dollars at times, just like the one you're seeing ahead of you. Look at these XRP charts to see how quickly the price of XRP is going to rise from a penny to almost $300. Or there's another project that will take over a $650 trillion market right on the XRP record and go from 3 cents to over $65,000. It is really happening now. Look at this. On December 5th, a very important event in the history of the refi environment will begin. And we're talking about the real token in particular. It will go up by a huge amount, over 40 million users and more than $5 billion in daily transaction volume will be able to quickly access the real token. What does that mean? Well, it means that a huge amount of money could now flow straight into the real token and cause its price to go through the roof. It's clear that there is a very, very small quantity of the real token. The maximum number that will be made is 1 billion, which is very small compared to the size that they will be able to reach. This is how a $650 trillion market might look. Their maximum supply is $1 billion. So I think their current phase 2 supply is just $122 million, which is nothing. But that would really happen if they got just 1% of the $150 trillion market. 1% of it turns into real. That means the real ticket will go from 3 cents to over $65,000. Even stranger, the real will be listed on a big centralized exchange in less than 2 weeks. On December 5th. Let's picture the size of what we're talking about, okay? Think about how big it will be when you talk about how much money will be made possible, and then look at any real-world asset project that's listed on an exchange. Their market values are all worth a lot of money. The cost would go through the roof, reaching tens of thousands of dollars if real did that. Again, though, you don't understand that until it's too late. Like those who bought Bitcoin for $1. It was hard to understand, yes. In the end, the price reached $120,000. They made many millions of dollars. Think about that. This is also a place where the same thing could happen. The chance to do this only comes up once during a lockdown, and it never comes up again. You can join a project that is already making real transactions possible and solving a real multi-trillion-dollar problem. The project was recently backed by a company that gave you access to more than 10,000 properties, so you can buy real estate directly on the XRP ledger using the real token. Take a look at this. The possibility is huge. Like if you look closely, it's so strong. Support levels are very strong and rejection levels are very low. In fact, the possibilities are crazy. Guys, take a look at this chart. Get ready to really soar. That's why you need to do your study again. You need to look into this because there's a significant chance that will only come up once in a lifetime. There is a lot of potential here, especially on the XRP ledger, and the best part is that he has the support of a large institution that is reported to be working with Ripple as well. In other words, these guys really like to use the XRP ledger to buy multi-million-dollar homes, and they do this with the real coin. Imagine that the real token can actually be used to buy real land. So it's clear that you can do study. That's the whole point. You need to look into things. Your job is to do research and make your own choice based on what you learn. Because of this, I'll leave all the links in the description below. There is also realchain.com where you can learn more about the real blockchain. But it's clear that I got a nice juicy bag. Also, I think it's clear that it's very, very bullish and you should do your own study. Of course, let's look at this one more time. The pace is about to start picking up. That problem could be fixed in a number of ways, but it could also be fixed by putting in place strict rules. We do know it's coming soon though, right? That's why I say imminent. I would be surprised if, say, a quarter from now, we were still in the middle of the SEC lawsuit. I think the way things are going in the world means we'll need a solution like XRP for liquidity sooner rather than later. So the question is now, fine, we've solved it magically. Where does the price go anyway? It's pretty clear that it's a number with tens. As a result, I believe it goes up right away to $10 or even $20. The thing that makes me nervous is that there is a deal between governments and central banks that would make XRP the world's bridge currency. It would be a neutral asset that central banks could trade with each other to change fiat currencies. If that happens, it brings us back to what we were talking about before. It needs to cover a lot of money. I also think you're looking at an area where XRP would agree to settle. This would happen right away for somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin. And, you know, our lives might be the same or different. I'm not sure. Most likely a little different. Okay, with all of that out of the way, I'm going to end the movie now, guys. Again, I'll leave all the links in the text below, but it's important to know that even though the market is down right now, this is only a short-term retracement. Actually, I think the biggest bull run is about to start. And this is something that always happens before a huge bull run. There is a decline. This is something that scares people and makes them afraid. So there is a big drop in prices, and then all of a sudden there is a big rise in prices. This is when most people make money. People who sold lose money, but people who hold on make money, and people who buy on the dip make even more. The way things are going right now makes it very clear. Take a look at how much Bitcoin costs. Over the last couple of seconds, it went up $175 right away, and it will keep going up.